Okay, hi friends. So, like 2 weeks ago, I was talking to somebody about like standards, and I was like, yeah, there's not a single standard I have for friendships, relationships, all that I would bend or change for a single person on earth. And so this person asked me, so even if you found a person who had like 9 out of the 10 qualities, let's say it's 10 qualities, you would not change? And I was like, matter of fact, no, like I would not. That's not it for me. And they were asking me why, and I was very like conflicted about that conversation. It stayed with me for a couple of days. And after that conversation, God kept answering like me through that conversation, right? And I'll explain as I go. So God was speaking to me, and He kept telling me that the standards I have indicative, of the type of God I serve, or how much I trust God, or how I view my God. Let me explain. The Bible tells us, and this is the verse that the Lord had been giving me for like the last 2 weeks, and this is like the day I'm finally able to process and like speak about it, is Ephesians chapter 3, verse 20. Yeah, verse 20. And I'm going to read it in the Passion Translation. It says, "Never doubt God's almighty power to work in you and accomplish all this. He will achieve infinitely more than your greatest request, your most unbelievable dream, and exceed your wildest imagination." And I sat there and I said, all these standards I set, whether it's for myself, whether it's for anyone else in my life, it's because I know the God I serve. And I know the God I serve will not let me down. So why would I believe that me settling is something God has in His plan for me? Why do we believe that? God wants you to want the best for yourself because that's what He wants for you. God has said this multiple times in the Bible, that He wishes for our souls to prosper even as we prosper. Prosperity is supposed to be part of your life. And I'm not talking about, like, financial prosperity is also a thing because, God owns everything, yes. But in all other aspects, your relationships, your marriage, your friendships, all these things are supposed to prosper. And for them to prosper, you have to be expectant of what God is doing for you. God is not going to work in you if there's nothing to work with. Sorry to say it. If there's no vessel for God to pour into, He's not going to pour into something empty. And the Bible here says that according to the power that works in you. If I believe God can do great for me, why wouldn't He? He'll exceed those great expectations I have for myself. If you believe in nothing, God is not going to do anything. There's nothing to pour into. 100 times 0 is still 0. But 100 times 1 is 100. 100 times 2 is 200. You see what I'm saying? And that's what expectations are. I expect God to do insanely great things because I know the God I serve. God says He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. If God could bring someone back from the dead in the Bible, today's not any different. Today is not a different planet. We're in the same planet, we're serving the exact same God. He can still do it and so much more. The same God that parted the Red Sea can still do the same thing now. I have seen so many people healed because of what they were expecting God to do, and God did more than heal. He restored their health and restored everything that the devil had taken. If I expect God to bring friends that are amazing and godly, and I prayed about that, God did more than I could imagine. Like right now, as I sit in what I prayed about 2-3 years ago, it's far greater than I could have pictured for myself. And that's what God is saying. I will exceed your expectations. If you're expecting God to give you a partner, and the only expectation you have over God giving you a partner is that they're Christian, He'll give you a God-fearing person, but you're not praying about character. If you're not praying about character, you're not praying about this, you're not expecting that, where is God going to pour into that? Expect the best from God because God is powerful. I don't doubt a single thing I believe God for because I know the God I serve. God does not need to prove Himself for me to understand that I've seen His grace before in my life. Do not sit there and tell yourself I can settle. Where in the Bible does God tell you to settle for anything short of the best? Where? And it makes me like angry for a lot of people that have been taught in their life to just settle. Contentment with what God is doing is different from settling. Contentment is being proud of where God has taken you, yes, but knowing there's more. Knowing there's more. Not being jealous, yes, but knowing there's more for you. And that's what God wants for all of us. Be expectant of the God you're serving. Know that you're serving an exceedingly amazing God. A God who will go above and beyond to make sure your life ends well. To make sure your life ends well. Do not doubt God because of what you hear on people. And I think that conversation with that specific person shook me because I realized not many people believe God can exceed their expectations. I 1,000% believe the people God have put in my life at this stage of my life exceed any expectations I had for the friendships for myself. Exceed every part. Anything I've done, God has exceeded. Even social media, I was expecting a couple people. God has exceeded the expectations I have in my head. Now that I know God can exceed that one, I'm expecting more. And guess what? He's still going to do so much more. And that's the same thing for your life. Expect from God knowing He'll pour into that and do so much more than your wildest imagination.